Hi, hello, guys, and welcome back. Welcome back to each other's soulmate. We are here. We are back with season 2, episode 2, titled The Awful Truth. And the awful truth this week is that I have COVID now. So if I sound and or look just absolutely horrendous, that is the reason why I am not wearing any face makeup. I sound like Kathleen Turner, which is a good thing. That's my favorite thing about being sick is I sound like Kathleen Turner for a good 5 days and then that goes away. So, damn it. But yeah, so if I don't talk a lot this episode, you now know why. I will be sipping on my tea from my lovely mug that my aunt purchased for me. That if you can't read, if it's not flipped, I'll have to flip it in editing. But it says, sorry for having great tits and correct opinions on everything, which I stand by.
Very accurate.
But yeah, so we are on season 2, episode 2. Let's get through this second season. It is crazy. This one is called The Awful Truth. This one is a very fun one. We get some new characters. We see some different themes. It's definitely a fun one. So with that, let's get right into it.
Yeah, so we start this episode off meeting honestly one of my favorite characters. She comes in a few
She's great.
series. Her name is Susan Sharon, and Susan Sharon is an old friend of Carrie's. She is a rep for a cashmere line. So that's what she does for a living, and her thing is that she married a very mean man. So we're introduced to Susan Sharon's husband while he's screaming at her for putting I forgot who the musician was, but they put a U2
And Natalie Imbruglia.
and Natalie Imbruglia,
Yeah.
and he's pissed. He's screaming at her because she put the CD in the wrong case. Like this, he's just a firecracker. He goes off like really easily on her all the time. But Carrie and Susan Sharon are hanging out for Carrie's birthday, which is in the next couple days. And they are walking around New York together, and Susan Sharon invites Carrie up to her apartment to receive her birthday present. And so they go upstairs to Susan Sharon's apartment, and as Carrie's walking around, she has this feeling of looking around Susan Sharon's apartment and feeling like this apartment is very adult. That the apartment makes her feel like she's 16 years old visiting her friend whose parents think that she's a bad influence. We've all been. And
Yeah.
giving Carrie her birthday present, which is a cashmere sweater, which is very expensive. And
Oh yeah.
as they're talking and receiving the gift, they start laughing and joking. And out of nowhere, here comes Susan Sharon's husband. He's like, "What the fuck?" He's pissed. And he's saying he has to be up in a few hours. And he starts screaming at Carrie and Susan Sharon. And Carrie just is like, "I'm out. I'm going to go." And as she leaves, she says, "Good night, Grumpy," to the guy.
He's like, I am on London time. I have to be
Yeah.
up when the market opens. He's pissed. He's yelling, screaming.
He's screaming, and so Carrie is just like, "I'm gonna go." And as she dips, she's like, "Good night,
Bye,
Grumpy."
Grumpy.
Yeah, get the fuck out of my house.
He goes, get the fuck out of my house. Which is like ridiculous.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like, I get it.
I
get when someone's like interrupting or being disrespectful, but like, my goodness. If my chick's like my friend's husband did that shit to me,
if my husband were to scream at me in front of you,
he never would.
he never would.
But if he did, he never would be able to because I'd knock his fucking jaw in half.
Yeah, no, seriously. Like, if I didn't first, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, Carrie dips, and we leave Susan Sharon and her husband just like screaming in each other's faces. So,
Yeah.
Carrie eventually gets home, and as she's going home, she thinks to herself, like, I wonder if Susan Sharon's marriage is really that bad, or if the fighting is a form of foreplay. You know, the couples that They do that. They will fight to spice things up and get ready to go fuck.
I don't always think that that's intentional too. I think that
No,
some relationships are inherently volatile. No, I think that some are inherently volatile and that they're toxic enough to where every time they fight, they have sex to do the makeup. And I think that that's not an intentional thing that happens. I think that they're so toxic that that just happens.
so you don't think it could be anything but toxic for that situation to play out?
No. No
Right.
healthy person does that. It's one thing to bicker. It's one thing you bicker naturally in relationships. You have to.
Yeah.
That's it's healthy. But being upset with each other shouldn't make you want to make love to each other. Or if you're constantly hate fucking, maybe you just hate each other.
Yeah. I could see that. But yeah, no. Susan Sharon calls Carrie that night. She apologizes and she starts venting to Carrie about what happened. And then she asks Carrie, she's like, should I leave my husband?
It's a big question.
That is a big question. And Carrie just tells her, well, if you're not happy, life is too short. So, Susan Sharon just hangs up the phone really quick because she hears her husband getting back up and she's like, shit, like, click. And Carrie just kind of realizes, like, I just fucked up. She shouldn't have.
Yeah.
So we pan over to the next scene and we have the four broads at brunch and, Carrie's telling them what happened and Miranda hits it off and saying, telling a friend to leave her husband is something you just don't do. And then Samantha chimes in saying, because if she does break up with him, then it's your fault. And if she doesn't break up with him, then she knows that you think that she should. Therefore, you can't be friends anymore.
That's such horse shit. That's a weird stipulation.
I feel like that would be the case for friends that, like, they're just friends or acquaintances.
Yeah.
Somebody
Okay.
to step into something that they don't truly know anything about and give their opinion like that.
That's fair.
I do think that is pretty accurate, but I also think that trying to involve people in your marriage like that is tricky in general, and you just really leave it to the professionals, But
yeah, but I think if you're asking someone's opinion, you're also inviting it.
that's true. And
if
then,
you're the one asking the question, and if you're upset at the answer, then that's on you.
yeah,
Then don't fucking ask.
yeah, but she's in a weak moment, and obviously it's on her mind. And I'm talking about Susan Sharon. She just got humiliated in front of her friend, and she's been putting up with this shit for years, and she just needed to talk to her girlfriend and was like, should I do this? But at the same time, it's like, I get seeking out that advice. I do, because you it's like a cry for help almost, but you just don't do that to your friends, dude. Like, it's such, like they said, it's an impossible situation to be in. And then we have Charlotte coming in saying how she just feels like in a committed relationship, you should be able to say anything. And Samantha just disagrees off the bat. She says, practically all the relationships I know are based on a foundation of lies and mutually accepted delusion. I feel like that's toxicity right there. But what do you
Well, yes and no. Because this is coming from the whole all I know are based on foundation of lies and mutually accepted delusion. That part
yeah, that's the part in question.
Yeah, like yes and no, because at some point, because relationships, you do have to be a tad bit delusional in essence to make them work, right? So you do have to put some things aside in your brain to make things healthy, like healthy things to put aside, right? Like, oh, he flosses before he brushes his teeth, that kind of thing, right? So you do live in this like essence state of delusion. What? You made a face.
I'm just like, flossing before you rushing through them, like, which way do I do it? Like, I
You know what I mean?
yeah,
So it's those small things like that that you kind of have to live and like put inside your head, you know, that they're not like perfect or whatever. And then truthfully, lying is actually like a normalcy. So like, did they say like in the human brain, you technically do lie like every what? I don't know. There's a statistic on it. Like even if it's like small or like if it's like a small or like exaggerating the truth or whatever. So like in essence, when you are having this like combined relationship with someone, there is this like weird way of like I am putting this foundation of like a committed relationship, but there is some things you have to do to make it work. Like they're hard, and that's why I think they can be innately toxic. Um I don't know. I see it in the non-toxic sense, but if you're looking at it in the toxic sense, then you're like, ooh, yeah, that's a terrible way to put things. But I'm like, there's some truth to that statement.
okay, I can see.
So when you look at relationships for like at the nth level, like you do see there is a lot of that. There is the things like, you know, you're like, I'm gonna, you know, blind eye to this just because I'm happy, you
Yeah,
know, and
oh,
it's like, oh, it's a little, you know, oh yeah, he goes to hang out with the boys every Thursday. No, he's at the strip club, you know, like stupid shit like that, you know. People put up with things and vice versa. So that's how it happens when you make relationship works. There's a lot of compromise.
that's true. I could see that,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, Samantha just like she doesn't pause. She says the fact
Yeah.
of lies mutually accepted delusion, like James and me, for instance. And mind you, she's still dating James. She says, I pretend not to notice he has a small dick, and he pretends not to notice we haven't had sex in 3 weeks. I just, yeah, that's really bad for Samantha. Like,
Yeah.
and then we pan over to Miranda talking about her dude. And Miranda mentions this guy. They call him Spring Roll Guy because she met him at a Vietnamese food truck. And he's a
It
dermatologist,
sounds so good.
started dating. And the problem, if you could even call it that, is that Spring Roll Guy likes to talk dirty in bed. That's her issue with him. And Miranda just doesn't know how to respond to that. Uh, Miranda says sex isn't a time to chat. It's one of the few instances in her over articulated life, an exceedingly verbal life, where it's perfectly acceptable, if not preferable, to shut up. And now she has to worry about being stumped for conversation. Are you okay? So you're like a no talk.
Yeah.
What?
No, okay. Not a no talk.
Not
However, I don't need a paragraph. I don't need a lead up. I don't need a little story. I don't need an like I
story.
don't need to hear a whole thing. We don't need to like subtitle everything we're doing. Like it has to be in the moment, you know. I like the encouragement. I'm like oh yeah, that's right, you know, like that's nice.
Yeah,
Okay, oh you like, you know, little things like that you can
yeah,
dribble in here.
like,
If you
yeah.
want me to narrate what we're doing, go watch fucking porn or something. I don't know, what do you want me to
Really,
do? No, that's
like,
so
like there's
weird. I don't.
talking after a point.
What do you mean?
Like you feel like there can be too much talking. Like if like
Yes.
rating and stuff, it's just like not
Because
it.
then you're losing it. You're so like sex is in essence somewhat of a fantasy too, right? You're in this other world. It's sex. It's nice, and then I'm like, I don't want to hear you talk. we're we're in the
Easy.
we're in the we're in the fantasy. We're in the clouds. Like everyone's like, you know, we're having, there's endorphins, there's dopamine. It feels like a high. I don't need to hear weird shit, you know, like tell me. I'm like, no, I'm not telling you shit. You tell me shit. I talk too much. I talk too much. Okay, I don't need to hear it.
That's wild.
So
I'm
yeah,
so
yeah,
the opposite.
no.
I love to hear it. I want to hear what's up. I want to hear
Hearing
why.
dudes talk,
Yeah,
like in like well, when they're like oh, not talk, I like hearing their sounds.
yeah.
Okay, sounds are great. I like, you know, I like the primal activity of it, like the sounds, the grunting, the moaning. Do more of that, but I don't need to hear you say stuff a lot. Just dabble it in there. Like, yeah, baby girl, whatever, little sprinkle of like, that's right, bitch. Like just a little, spice it up a little bit. Yeah, a little dirty little slut. Throw that in there. Everyone loves a little bit of degradation, right? Like, but yeah, no, like I'm not into the whole narration aspect of it. I don't like that, or like the role playing aspect. That's a big thing that happened to me once, where like that's what a guy was super into, and I was like, I can't do that for you, dude. That's gross.
I
And
like
just at least for me.
acknowledgement of what's happening, and I like encouragement. You know what I mean? Like
I like encouragement. Yeah, small little.
It like definitely.
Yeah.
I enjoy that, and
no, it helps with that.
During sex, I
don't like talking.
I'm not here like, hey man, like that was great, but it's more just like an acknowledgement of what's happening, which I think is like fun, because it's like, I don't know, it's you have sex and you don't really say anything, you just like go through the motions of it and then it's done. But I just
it can't be that. Like, I'm not over here talking like silent, but like, it doesn't have to be a lot.
Yeah, okay. I see. Like
it's a nice little healthy balance. I'm not a big talker unless I'm drunk.
Oh my gosh.
And it's probably a little different. I'm a little more loose if I'm drunk into saying shit. I think we all are.
It's funny because like this is one of those moments in the show. Usually Charlotte is one of the ones that's learning when the ladies are having these talks, but in this one she's one of the ones teaching. So she really tries to help Miranda out with this one and tells her not so difficult, just talk about his big cock. And Samantha's like, his big beautiful. I could
never. See, it's like that's just not
great face. Like
I can't even say that now. I like saying like that. I'm more into the sensation than describing. Okay, I'm like, that feels great. Yeah, keep doing that. Not like, oh, look at that fucking. I can't even say it, man. I don't even know. Like, when have I ever referred to it? Like, I'm gonna like refer to it in third person. Like, I don't know.
Like, does that have a name? Like,
it feels like it's another, like, if you address it so much, it feels like another person in the room, and I'm like, I'm not here to personify your penis. Listen here, Jimmy. That feels great. Like, no. Oh God.
And then they try giving Miranda some examples, like saying something like, "You're so hard." That can be effective.
Oh yeah.
Just acknowledging like you're hard. And this freaking Charlotte, she's like, "Come on, yeah, stud, that's right. Don't stop, fucker." And she just starts throwing out these examples, and I'm just like,
pause. Okay, this isn't an episode later on in the series. However, hearing that Charlotte uses that as an example and in one of the episodes later on, so this guy comes, and every time he comes, he says, "You fucking bitch, you fucking slut," or whatever, "you dirty slut." Like, he comes and that's what he says, and then she goes, "Does he really think I'm like that?" And I'm like, okay, you can't be giving examples of "that's right, fucker, don't stop," as if that's what you're saying during sex. And then a guy coming saying like, "Oh, you dirty little slut," like that's what bothers you, fucking whore. That bothers you? That's, what's this called? What's this? I'm sick, so I don't know what I'm talking about. Hypocrisy.
Hypocrisy. Right there. You got it. No, yeah. She got moments of hypocrisy, like, so far. What was it? One of the first episodes, this dude dumps her because she won't give him a blow. And she straight up asks him, "Are you gonna let the future mother of your children, your possible soulmate, go for a blowjob?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then just a couple episodes ago, the guy couldn't get it up for her. And he's like, "Are you really gonna not be with somebody who truly cares about you because he can't get it up?" And she's like, "Yeah." Like, she did it too, so.
But that was her standard.
Yeah, that's true.
So, that wasn't hypocrisy. That was just her. He had a standard. She had a standard. They just didn't line up.
I could see that. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then Miranda says that the only talking that she typically does when she's having sex is announcing that she's about to come. That's it. You know, that I'm gonna come, and then she
I
talks.
never do that. I never do that. I just recently kind of started doing that because then you get the "Did you come?" and I'm like,
If you have to
and
ask.
you know what's crazy? Okay, TMI, but like if I do, I'm loud.
No,
I'm
seriously.
loud. I'm a loud bitch. Obviously,
Yeah,
it's apparent. My body shakes. I'm like I'm
yeah,
in it. It's great, especially if it's good.
yeah.
And then you want to know the telltale sign of a girl's like if you made her come great.
She
Out
passes out.
like a light. She
Like,
passes out.
yeah,
If she has to take a second to kind of like come to her senses, you did a good job.
yeah.
Congrats, buddy. Put that on your resume.
There you go. But yeah, that
But yeah. I
they
don't just,
did do
I don't
that.
know. Because here's the thing, and this is just in my experience. If you start to announce it, they change up the pattern, they change the
Yeah,
frequency, and that
yeah.
can interrupt the coming.
And you're
Okay?
like losing it, and then
Because then
oh my
then
god,
they get too much into it. And I'm
oh
like,
my god. You know when you like say it, and then they start going faster, like they think that's gonna make it happen, and you're
that's
like,
what
go back to what
no.
you're doing.
Yeah, everything you were
Oh,
doing, that pressure, that frequency there, that setting,
yeah.
perfect. Don't
Don't even
fuck with it.
don't even
This
breathe.
is why you don't acknowledge it if you want to come.
Exactly. Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
And no, Miranda says that doing anything more than announcing when you're about to come it feels like make believe.
Yeah, I don't
Like,
know.
don't be that nonverbal. Like, say something. I don't know. Even just, I don't know. Anyways, yeah.
That's right, fucker. Don't stop.
Yeah, exactly. Or like, I like when you do that. You know,
See,
whatever.
now that I'm like thinking about it in my head, I'm just like uncomfortable now. I'm like, I feel like every time I've ever opened my mouth during sex, I'm like, ugh, that's how embarrassing.
And I'm here wondering, like, I wonder, because I enjoy, I enjoy watching pornography. I also enjoy reading pornography. I wonder if the reading it has anything to do with enjoying the hearing about it.
Maybe because you know what's funny? I'm a visual person.
Yeah.
I'm a big like I do think I have guy brain with sex. I'm big on like
Visual.
vision, like what I'm looking at, like and what I'm feeling. I'm not so much into like everything else, but I'm just vision's a lot for me.
It's
So
pretty like on for
like
me, but for me it's more so like I guess the auditory. Um and like the mindset and the intentions and
yeah,
stuff. Um
it's really more sensation than anything. For me, it's off of just completely sensation. I don't really I don't care what's going on as long as it feels good.
I could see that. But
So
yeah, no, Carrie takes all this and starts thinking about it, goes home and gets on her laptop and she starts wondering, was Miranda right? Have we put such a premium on being open and honest with one another that we've misplaced the boundaries of propriety? Are there still certain things in a relationship that you shouldn't say?
like
And we get to the next part. So we have our fun interviews with the people of New York City again.
people on the street.
Yeah. And we have this first girl, she's kind of waspy and she says my best friend just got engaged to the biggest loser I've ever met. What am I supposed to tell her? You're marrying an imbecile?
Yes.
Honestly, dude, you should say
Yes.
it's that bad and she's so like love blind and everything. You should say something.
Look, not everyone's the brightest bulb in the goddamn tanning bed. But
Yeah.
if it's like affecting it like terribly, if it's affecting the character of your friend, like say something. But if it's one thing, if he's just a little, if they're a little dumb, some people are just a little dumb.
We love him.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Right. But like if it's one thing where it's like infringing the rights on your friend and like
Yeah.
maybe say something. Or if you know that might be a potential challenge for them. Because I know you would probably suggest, like if I met someone who wasn't that, you'd probably be like, you're going to want to consider that because you know that I have to like have a conversation with someone to be able
Yeah.
to maintain my kind of intimacy on a
Yeah.
different level. I can't just sit here and talk about like the weather,
Yeah.
So
I could
yeah.
see that, but I don't think I would obviously I wouldn't say it the way this chick is saying. I wouldn't say he's a fucking imbecile, but
I would.
I mean, we have different styles of acknowledging things for sure, but I would ask you about how fulfilled that person makes you feel. Does this person share?
Let's not sugarcoat this shit,
Well, what would you say exactly? He's a
Isn't he a little dumb?
Is he a little dumb? Isn't it like what they say, the dumb ones pound the hardest? I could definitely see when it's like a dumb one that it's like, or like in a situation like that, maybe the sex is so good that you're kind of like.
I've actually yet to experience that, but that's just me because I'm like, typically, the more I can talk to you on like a level, the better sex I've had with a person.
Yeah.
I tend to have, the better sex is with the smarter ones for
Hmm.
me.
Yeah. Interesting.
So, but I think that's just because I think that's like my level of intimacy. I get to be less vulnerable because I trust you more because we talked more before.
Yeah. Yeah. More.
So that's probably more of the direct correlation. So, and I'm not sitting here saying I'm a fucking genius or that whatever, but like, I'm not over here saying like everyone's fucking stupid and I'm like this genius brain. That's not what I'm saying. But like there is some distinction. Some people just genuinely like don't think at like more complex topics as something that I genuinely enjoy doing. Obviously, I have a podcast, yeah, we talk about sex, but whatever. Anyway, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm not sitting here being like, oh, everyone's a fucking imbecile.
Man. And then we got the next guy, and he's a firefighter. I think this guy's so cute.
Mm-hmm.
My wife has had her breasts done twice. He says they look fantastic, but they feel like shit. He says, I keep that thought to myself.
This was the 90s when implants weren't as nice.
Yeah.
So they were hard, man. They were hard back in the day. That shit was like rocks.
Really? I've never
implant
like that. So it like
they have gone
up and but it just
they were like very firm. Like the best way I can describe like the firmness of that would be like
one of those stress balls you squeeze.
Not even that squishy, a little bit harder. So like think about the stress ball, but like a harder exterior. So there is still give, but like there you gotta squeeze it a little bit. So but yeah, they were pretty fucking hard. Nowadays, obviously, you could never tell on some of them.
Yeah.
But they have different kinds of implants now.
Yeah.
The only reason I know about any of this is because I would love a boob job. And everyone thinks I'm crazy, but I'm like, I want Pam Anderson tits.
You're already almost there.
I do. No, I'm not. Proportionally, it makes 0 sense.
Okay.
Makes 0 sense.
0.
I need bigger boobs. And I need a bigger butt.
Would feel like satisfactory. Like
what cup size?
Yeah, cup size.
I don't know. I just want them bigger. I never like. I just like
a basketball.
All right. This is what I always do, and people like. I have it in my head. I want them here. So not a whole lot more. So like, okay, there they are. I want them like there. So it's like an inch out more, like a little bit fuller. I want them a little bit bigger. Because I feel like they're unproportional to my body. I'm a bigger bitch. And everyone's like, oh, they're great. I'm like, no, they're not great. They're small. I have a big back. I have linebacker shoulders. Thanks, Dad. They need to be a little bit more present. I would like for them to be less tardy, okay? I want them to walk into the room first before I do. Okay?
Like you would win a race because of them?
Yes. I don't feel they don't do that anymore, especially if I'm wearing like support. Like the other day, why are we doing this? Why are we talking about this? Anyway, I wore a bodysuit and I had to wear like a strapless bra, and it sucks them up like a lot so they can stay supportive, but then they practically look flat in the bodysuit. So then I'm like, I'm just like titsless wonder over here, and I'm just like, no, like I don't look like this typically. So boobs are fascinating, okay? Sometimes they look fantastic and sometimes they look non-existent in clothes, which is insane to me. So I'm just over it. So that's why I'm like, why not have fake boobs that always look good?
Those are the real questions we need to ask ourselves.
I'm probably never going to do that unless I have kids, breastfeed, and then get like mommy makeover. But who knows? We'll see.
That's true. Man. But yeah, no, that really, I feel like that firefighter makes an interesting point on like things to and to not point out in a relationship. Because it's like, nobody wants to think about losing a relationship because of the physical stuff, but in certain scenarios, it just kind of happens. Like he
also, though, you would think that it obviously was an insecurity for her to get her boobs done, so he probably doesn't want to touch on that either.
That's true.
They probably were like small, and then she was already insecure about that, and so now that they're larger and like look nice, but now they feel like shit, she's gonna be like, wow, I did all this, like I got my boobs done, now they look great, but now they feel bad and my husband doesn't even like them. Like, can you imagine?
Yeah. No, I can't. I mean, God, no, I can't.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's, because it's interesting. Physical features and things like that are really touchy, for sure. It's hard. And then we have the last lady in these little interviews, and she says, I'm a single 38-year-old woman still hoping to get married. I don't want to know the truth.
That's how I feel.
And
That's how I feel right now.
It's so just like off-putting too, because they have her standing in front of this store, and it's just a bunch of mannequin hands behind her as she's just like saying that.
That's how I feel. That's how I feel. So I feel like 38 in the 90s is 28 in the 2020s.
Oh, stop. I feel
shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. I'm single. Don't even. It's fucking rough out here, man.
Respect. Okay, I hear you on that. Okay.
It is rough.
Woof.
Like rough. But that's woof. Yeah. Arf arf, bitch. Like, we're talking some knock loose type of fucking arf goddamn trenches out here. It is bad. It is gnarly.
Dude.
It is rough. Like, literally, like, what's it like in the fucking Hunger Games? It's like fucking, what was that? What's it called? Yeah, but what's the saying? Oh, like, may the odds be ever in your favor. Yeah. That's what it feels like. That's what dating feels like. You're like, hey, if it works out, if it works out. Oh.
My God.
It's awful. I feel for that lady. But then it's just funny too, because now everyone's talking about the whole divide of like, okay, you don't have to go through the whole dating thing. You get to be single and free and yippee. And I'm like, yeah, okay, it is great. Let's be real. Being single is fucking awesome most of the time. But then you're like, aw, I want that.
Yeah. Compromise on anything.
Ugh.
Or talk to someone time. Or keep them in mind with every single decision you make.
I used to do that in all my relationships. I was a very devoted girlfriend. I was a very devoted partner. And like, I guess maybe I'm just damaged goods.
No.
That's what it feels like. Abuse. No, but like I feel for this lady. She's like, I don't want to know the truth. And what she's implying is like, hey, it's probably not gonna happen for me. She's 38 years old. I mean, not saying that it can't, obviously, but like it's hard. It's hard. And I talked about it with my therapist. She's like, the older you get, the harder dating usually gets.
Yeah.
She's like, you have all this combined life experience between you and that other person, and you think about things, and some people are a little more carefree, some people are a little more like closed off. She's like, it's hard. And I was like, yeah, I can fucking see that. And then this world of technology that we're living in, it just makes everything so unauthentic and not as
Plus,
fun.
if you're dating a little later in life, you've probably been hurt in a few different ways. So the trauma that you have to like go through, because I feel like it's much more difficult to try to be in a healthy relationship than it is to be in a toxic one. Not saying
Oh,
that
hell yeah.
doesn't come with its problems and its bullshit, but when you're in a healthy relationship, you're no longer in survival mode, and you actually have to start acknowledging some of your bullshit. That's hard.
Right. And let's also not forget that you can also be in a relationship that sucks just to be in a relationship and not be single.
Bro, that is like the loneliest kind of lonely there fucking is.
But some people do that. Some people do that. They're genuinely just happy and complacent, but they're like, but I got a man. I'm like, okay.
Like that's the winning selling point of life.
Some people feel that way. Some, like we see it in the show, the theme of the show. How many times have we seen the theme of the show being like, well, at least she's married. Well, at least they're married. At least they're married. How many times have we heard that? It's only going to keep going on. We're only on season 2.
True.
It mainly comes from Charlotte, but yeah, dating's wild, man. Again, I feel for this 38-year-old lady who's probably no longer with us.
No, the hands got her.
I'm just kidding. The hands got her. Dude, never mind.
I think I know what you were about to say. Yeah, never mind. So, next scene, we have Susan Sharon and Carrie out shopping. And Susan Sharon is just telling Carrie about how her and her husband broke up. And she's like telling her actual moment they're fighting. Bitch, she told Carrie that at their wedding, her husband told her that he felt a wave of disappointment because she was so generic looking. Moment of
silence for Susan Sharon. We both. Dude,
that would destroy me.
Why go through and look? We just finished fucking talking about that. Why would you go through with that? To be with someone.
Yeah.
I would be mortified. I would like.
No. That's
like a big reason. Like, that's a big reason why. In my like previous life with like a previous partner, we went back and forth a lot. And my biggest thing with him was I was like, don't convince yourself. I'm like, because at this point, I think you're gonna fucking settle if we ever get back together. I'm not doing that. Like, don't do that just because you think it's a great idea or whatever. Like, you're fucking settling. I don't even want to be a part of your life if that's what you think being with me is gonna be like. You're like, well, I mean, sure, no. I can never.
No.
God.
Honestly, good for you. Don't beg somebody to love you, dude. Please.
Like, you should never beg someone to love you or to like you. You can try till the day you fucking die. But
Frida Kahlo, wasn't she the one who said, if I have to ask for it, then I don't want it?
Is it Frida? Yeah, and then there's that one. We said it last time too. It's that same. If you have to hesitate, don't pick me.
Yeah.
Seriously. Where's that from? Let me look that up real quick.
Okay. Yeah. do that. And yeah, gosh, dude, poor friggin' Susan Sharon. She's telling Carrie all this, and naturally, Susan Sharon is kind of clinging on to Carrie at this point because Carrie was the one who was like, I mean, yeah, if you're not happy, you should leave him. And so Susan Sharon, after venting to Carrie while they're shopping together, she asks Carrie if she can stay with her for a little bit while she kind of figures out what to do next. And Carrie's like, oh, okay. Like, she doesn't want to, but she's like, okay, go ahead. And then we have our next scene, and we get to meet Henry. So Charlotte has kind of decided at this point that if she doesn't have, until she has her perfect man to marry, she would have the perfect dog. So she did all this research on like the best breed, what's the most popular, everything, and
she ended up with a Jack Russell
Terrier, and she named him Henry.
Dude, out of all fucking dogs, do you know I had a Jack Russell once? They're so hyper. They're so hyper. They are so energetic. They jump. This fool would jump. I'm not kidding you. From floor to like here. Like fucking pounce. Like this fool could jump. Jack Russells are also what Wishbone was. Wishbone was a Jack Russell. Remember Wishbone?
Yeah.
The little movie when we were kids. The little doggy. And he'd go on adventures. He was a Jack Russell.
My ex had a Jack Russell that was like at the end of its life when we first got together. I think that thing was like 18 or something. It was
holy God. Yeah, it was an old doggy.
Just walking around.
It's a little old man. I love when dogs get that old, man. Like they're just you're like, oh,
you little
sweet baby. Crusty dog.
Crusty dog. We love dogs.
But out of all fucking dogs, she picks a Jack Russell. It's just fun. But it's a very like, it's not like essentially like a wealthy looking dog, you know, but like, I don't know. I guess you can't.
I feel like wealthy dogs are definitely the dogs that you can take one look at it and know the breed. Cause
just like a purebred in general.
Yeah. Well,
I don't look at a pug. I don't look at a pug and think wealth just because it's a purebred pug.
Really? I do.
Yeah, not at all.
Especially
I don't look at a purebred Chihuahua. No. I don't look at like.
Wait.
Huh?
Like, we're in South Texas, of course there's like purebred Chihuahuas everywhere.
But that's what I'm saying. You don't see all purebreds aren't a sign of wealth to me. There's some breeds that are definitely more expensive than a pug. Like, you know, like my family had purebred Belgians for a long time. Those are expensive dogs. Huh?
What was Oso?
A Belgian Shepherd.
That dog was beautiful.
Yeah. They were purebred Belgian Shepherds. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very expensive dogs. They're very beautiful dogs. But yeah, they're expensive fuckers, man. But yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm like, okay. And like these fucking cats, like my best friend she has a Sphinx cat. And like it's like customized too nowadays. You can like customize them and shit. So like she has like she has folded ears and she's like smaller and she's like goblin-y looking. So yeah, so she was more expensive because of all, you know, because they have to breed this shit, right? It's all a science. It's crazy. So they're more expensive because of the way they're bred and like the way they come out too. So if they have green eyes, if they have blue eyes, they're more valuable than the ones who have green eyes. Like all this crazy shit, man.
Wow,
dude, I got Mama for like $15 at the shelter.
Girl,
Where is that? Where is that brat? Yeah, no. But yeah, I mean, it's sad too. I mean, some people like only get animals because they're purebred. And I'm like, there's so many animals that need homes that are in shelters, like waiting to fucking die. Like, please go get a puppy or a kitty.
Or a cat. Oh my God. I've been getting notifications that the shelters are full.
And I don't mean puppies like baby puppies. I mean any dog at any age, at any stage in their life, and cats too. You need to adopt anywhere from when they're right out of the womb to if they're on their last legs, because every puppy, a little kitty, and animal is deserving of a loving home.
Okay, we need to continue before I start crying and thinking about this too.
No, I know. And anyway, anything I say this episode, I hope you know, is a fat fucking lie because I have a fever. So anything I say,
Doesn't count.
and I didn't.
Gosh. Okay, we have the next scene, and we have James and Samantha at Samantha's apartment. And mind you, they're still dating. They haven't had sex in 3 weeks. And James is coming to Samantha and saying, I feel like something's wrong, something's off. And Samantha's gaslighting him, to be very honest. Like, obviously, something's
Yeah.
She's just not. And okay, side note, I feel like even if you're gaslighting in a way that's like gentle like this and gentle or like no, like it's not, like I feel like it's still gaslighting, it's still toxic.
Yeah.
Not
It doesn't
obviously pick
it
up,
doesn't heed from the definition.
you know, and or her.
Yeah.
I hate that shit. But anyways, James asks Samantha to go to couples counseling with him. And
Dude, that early on in a relationship?
haven't even been together 6 months. But yeah.
No.
So she's just kind of like, okay. Like, she doesn't want to, but she says okay. And then next scene, we have Miranda and her spring roll guy in
Spring roll guy.
Yeah, that's what he's known as. And, you know, we see them making
hungry.
love. And, you know, he's talking to her a lot and he's narrating everything. He's like, you like it when I dress like that? And like, just like everything. He's saying everything. And he starts trying to get her to talk by asking her questions. And I love this scene. Honestly, this is one of my favorite scenes of the show. Specifically, one of his. And so he starts asking her questions like, "Do you like that? Does that feel good?" And she starts giving, you know, one-word responses like, "Yeah, it's good." And he's really turned on by it. Every little word she throws out there, you can see him like, oh, like reacting, like getting like turned on and stuff. And it's fun.
I'm getting flashbacks.
You know, they're having fun. And she begins to describe his cock, and she starts like little, like it's big and it's hard, and he's like, oh, like going for it. He's so into it, and she starts building on it, and she says it's a big rock hard sausage, and he's like, oh baby, you are so nasty, and
ew.
He's so into it, and I just that line's like my fucking favorite. And she starts getting into it. She starts going off, and like she literally says it's a big, hard, throbbing sausage, and he nuts. Like something about the word sausage just fucking gets him.
I'm getting flashbacks of like having to do that, and it's just awful. Awful, man.
God, this shit is so funny. Oh my god.
I'm always like, you know what's so funny, right? Is like, because essentially, I guess could say I'm a performer, right? So I'm always concerned with fucking up lines. So if I'm constantly concerned with fucking up lines, it's the last place I want to do it. Because knowing me, I'm going to switch something up. It's going to sound fucking stupid. I've done it before where I've referred to my genitalia as the opposite sex's genitalia, and I'm mortified, all right?
And the truth comes out.
And vice versa. It's happened before. And remember, I was in, well, this would be a dead giveaway of who it was, but it was back when I was younger, and it happened to them also. And I was like, see how fucking embarrassing that is? See? Fuck that. It's hard. Everything gets jumbled in the moment. I'm like, put it in and shut up.
Fucking duct taped his mouth. Oh my god. Next scene, we have Susan, Sharon, Carrie, and Charlotte at Charlotte's apartment. And Carrie and Charlotte and Susan Sharon are hanging out with little Henry.
Henry.
Charlotte is trying to show off Henry's tricks that she's been teaching him, but he's like not cooperating. And they're just like comparing him to like every other man that Charlotte's dated. They're like, he was inconsistent, selfishly stubborn, and hopelessly codependent.
And Jack Russells are actually very smart though, but they can be hard to train.
Yeah, I can imagine. They got like
It's like people who buy Shiba Inus and they think that they're gonna be like a fucking delight. Do you know how stubborn that dog breed is? Like it's hard. Those are little like independent fuckers. And they're so cute, but they're so smart and they're so goofy, but they're so hard to train. Because they're very stubborn, very in their own kind of lane. And I love them to pieces. They're so fucking cute. They're so cute.
I can't with those dogs.
They're so cute though.
Cute,
oh, I would love one.
But the attitude problem, I'm just like, I've met a really mean one before though, so it left a bad taste.
A Shiba? A mean Shiba?
Yeah.
Aww, I've never met a mean Shiba. They are very like, they're like scoff in your presence. You're like, oh.
I'm fucking Shiba.
They're so cute.
But we have Susan Sharon. She's super not interested in Henry, and she's just saying to Carrie that she needs to go back to her apartment to see if her husband's called. And they're like, I thought you were leaving him. And she says, I am. I just want to be there to answer the phone to let him know I'm not going to talk to him.
Talk about petty.
I know, right? And Charlotte's like, that's passive aggressive. You should only talk to him if you have something you actually want to say. And, Susan Sharon starts talking about, her husband and stuff. And then she kind of like has this moment where she's like, I just can't believe he hasn't called me yet. And Carrie's just like, she kind of says something like, well, do you really want to talk to him? And Susan Sharon's like, well, you don't really know him that well. He actually does have a sweet side. You don't know him.
Yeah.
I do. And then I don't like this next part, but Susan Sharon goes up to the dog and she like gets in the dog's face and is like, do you think I did the right thing, Henry? And the fucking dog snaps at her face. Like growls and snaps at her in the face. And Charlotte puts him away and is like, he's a dog, not an oracle.
Not an oracle. That's one of my favorite lines. He's a dog, not an oracle.
I'm like, you fucking bitch. Like, honestly.
However, you should know better to never just touch a dog's face.
It's a puppy.
No, you never touch a dog's face. Never. You don't just go in and touch their face. It's a dog. You have to gain their trust and shit.
Okay.
I would never do that. You'd never go up to a dog and go, "Oh, puppy!" Like you're gonna it's either gonna love you or you're gonna get fucking bit. Think of it's the same way humans react. If someone comes up to you and just starts touching your face, it's either like you get stunned or you fucking you're gonna get smacked.
That's true.
But no, dogs are the same. Yeah, no, you can't expect a dog, especially a brand new dog, to just be there and be like, oh yeah, cool. But no. Like anyone who has like kids, they teach them around dogs. Like you don't just do that. You let them smell you first. Same thing with cats. I always tell people cats the same thing. I'm like, people think cats are mean. I'm like, they just don't want to be touched yet. I'm like, you get them to sniff you and then they get used to you and then you can maybe try a little pet. Other than that, no.
Cats. That's how I get them.
What?
I always play hard to get with cats. I pretend not to be that interested, so they're like, why not?
I'm like, cats. I love cats, man. They come up, those hoes come up to me. Where is mine, by the way? I can't find mine.
That's okay.
Sweet. I'm like, cats love me. I'm like, I don't even know where she is. She's out.
Oh, gosh. And the next scene, we have Carrie at home, and she gets a package delivered to her door. And it's a big white box with a giant red bow and a card. I wonder who that could be from. So we have the four bras at brunch again for the episode. I wish we had like the income and economy to like be able to go to brunch fucking every fucking day of the week like they do.
We can.
You know what? Let's just fucking do it. You're right.
I'm like, what do you mean? We can. Let's go. Nothing stop. The only thing that stops me is that you live so far away.
I know. You know what though? Soon. I am moving soon. Soon it will not be the case.
Yeah.
Anyways, we have them at brunch and we find out that the card and the box the box had flowers in it, a dozen red roses, and it was a gift from Mr. Big. The card said best wishes on your birthday from Mr. Big.
Mm-hmm.
And Carrie's like, what does it mean? And then Miranda's like, rip up the card. And Samantha's like, watch out for the thorns. And then Charlotte comes in, Little Miss Optimism. It's the grand gesture. When you break up with somebody, care from your life, then that's that. But if they make a powerful declaration of their love, then you have to reconsider. And Charlotte's like, well, you know, men, they can never say I was wrong. They just send flowers. I'm like, okay.
I don't even get flowers.
The most constipation, dude.
However, I do think it's interesting because I do think that like this is like a thought I've had. So we have to assume that Big liked Carrie enough to not remember her birthday, but to tell his assistant or secretary when Carrie's birthday was. So I always fall back on that because I'm like a delusional bitch myself. So I'm like, oh my God, he cared. He remembered. I'm like, he has a secretary that does everything for him. But he did care enough to put it down in whatever calendar she utilizes. So he at least cares that much.
That's true.
That's the way I see things. That's Big's bare minimum.
Yeah.
So she can at least write on that.
Yeah. And, you know, Miranda says sometimes a rose is just a rose. It doesn't have to mean anything. He just got her flowers for her birthday.
Yeah.
Charlotte feels like it's the grand gesture. Carrie's kind of like, well, is the ball in my court now then? She doesn't want to play games, but she's just like, this isn't really the grand gesture, it's the vague gesture. And she thinks vague gesture is worse than no gesture at all.
I could see that because I'd be like, okay, thank. Yeah, I mean, actually, recently I just got flowers on my birthday for someone I didn't want flowers from, and I'm just like, I'd rather if you not send anything.
Yeah, definitely. No, I
didn't need the sentiment because I didn't want to think about you on my birthday, and of all days in the fucking year, I don't really care to think about you, and now I'm forced to.
It's kind of
you
selfish.
Fucking narcissist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually what Samantha and Miranda. It's selfish what he's doing to her. And Charlotte thinks they're being crazy for thinking he's being selfish. And, you know, she takes off with the dog because friggin' Henry's doing her purse. She's like, we have to leave. And Harry says that Charlotte was at the point where she was starting to see the real Henry and their relationship. And then we pan over to the next scene, and Carrie's at home smoking a cig, and she wonders if I'm sorry was the one thing that Mr. Big couldn't say. And she decides to call him and thank him for the flowers. And he says, you're welcome, and asks what she's doing for her birthday. She invites him to her birthday dinner. You know, and he's like, I don't make plans, but I might pop by. and he says that he might show up with somebody. And Carrie's like, well, after she hangs up, she's like, shit, I just invited my ex and his date to my birthday party.
She assumed it was a date.
Yeah, but we don't know that yet.
No, I know, but like that's weird to assume that.
I mean,
Also, I'm not the type of bitch to be like, oh, okay, I see. I'd be like, who are you bringing?
yeah, but when has she ever been like that
Up,
with him?
up
Like, put
front?
around. Yeah.
Because, well, yeah, I might be bringing someone. Well, who? And it's like, oh, it's so and so from work. Okay, cool.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I'm like, hold on, we got a reservation here, asshole. I can't just like put anyone on here, you know?
but she's not that assertive with him.
Mm-mm.
But oh my gosh! So next scene, right? We have Samantha and James at therapy.
Oh no.
And we start off with James telling the therapist about how their sex life had diminished in the last month. And we have Samantha's like internal monologue going over, and she's just desperately trying to say anything except what's actually bothering her. And she tells the therapist, I'm just not feeling very sexual these days. And
Mm-hmm.
James comes in with a, that's not true because I caught you masturbating when I came out of the shower the other day. I didn't like that.
However, yeah, like that's normal. That's tension
Whatever.
release.
Tension release, exactly.
Not,
Uh,
and sometimes you just need that moment for yourself.
yeah. I really feel like people really sleep on the fact that, yeah, you have sexuality and intimacy with your partner. You also have
You
a
gotta
relationship
have that with yourself.
with yourself, and I don't consider masturbating cheating. I consider it
What
self.
the fuck? Who
No,
would
dude,
ever see it
seriously.
like that?
I mean,
No, I was in a relationship where my partner got mad when he would catch me. He'd get mad,
oh my
and I was like, "How does this not turn you on?" You know,
god, no,
it's like,
seriously, seriously,
yeah. Because then I
like,
had the opposite effect too, where like I'd be like, "Oops," and then it was like, "Oh, game on! What's happening right
yeah,
now?" You know? No,
yeah.
he'd get mad. He'd get mad. He'd be like, "That's gross. You're not thinking about me." And I'm like, "Damn right, I'm not. We're breaking up in about a month."
Oh my
It
god, talk about
took longer than that.
fucking happy. Uh,
But yeah, but it's all insecurity based. Like,
and,
let's be real. We know that it's all based on insecurity because it's like, who would ever care if your partners? It's like those. Look, I'm just gonna say it.
uh-oh.
When you get in a relationship, and if you're uncomfortable with your male partner watching pornography, and you ask him to stop, he doesn't. I'm sorry. They're like, or you're like, no, I don't watch it anymore. No, I don't want. He does. Like, get over yourself. Everyone does.
Uh,
Okay, it's not cheating. It's not fuck. It's like that's crazy to me. I mean,
to be fair, though, to be fair, if you are willingly be in a relationship with somebody, you have to recognize that that person being in a relationship is compromising. And
yeah,
you decide to be in that relationship, you are deciding to compromise with that person. You are deciding that, okay, you're not going to do it. And lying about it is still wrong. You should just not be with them
absolutely.
if you're incompatible.
Absolutely. We talk about it in last season. We do mention it, you know, we talk about like how we don't see pornography as cheating, but some women may do, or some people
Yeah.
may do it.
Yeah.
We didn't get any discourse on that. I wish we did because I do find that very fascinating. I do see a lot of that come from more of a religious output, from what I've seen, but or just I've seen it a lot of just insecurity. They're just like, oh well, they can't be fully into me if they're gonna be lusting over other women. And I'm like, well, humans are humans. They're gonna lust over. We do, regardless of your gender or whatever. You're gonna lust over other humans, regardless of your partner.
No,
That's
serious.
natural.
And it's like to take it so personally, too. you know? Because I
That's
mean,
insecurity.
it's another thing too. Like, you know, watching pornography is one thing. Finding Instagrams and social media of these people and following them and trying to talk to them and stuff is another thing. You know, like
Oh, okay. I think it's hilarious. If you're gonna try and shoot your shot with a porn star, that's funny. If I find my dude doing that, I'm like, dude, you're gonna hit up Peyton Presley, and you think she's gonna want to fuck your bitch ass? Be my guest.
right ahead.
All right. If she says yes, honestly, let me see.
Hit me up.
Let me see. I want to watch. I'll cuck that shit. I love her.
Oh my
But
God.
what were we saying? How did
Porn,
we even talk about this?
pornography,
Oh,
cheating.
because he caught Samantha
That's
masturbating. That was the whole theme of this. But
and
yeah,
then
no, you have to want it. You got to be healthy. You have to have a healthy relationship with yourself sexually, also.
too. And James accuses Samantha of having a problem with intimacy. That's the problem. Which
She does, though.
she does. But that's not really the problem here.
Right.
And then Samantha is just like, that's it's not that, it's nothing, forget it. And the therapist is like, well, that's all the time we have for today. So let's try to reschedule for next time. And this was Samantha's breaking point. You know, she's
Yeah.
looking around the room, reading the situation, realizing if she doesn't say anything now, she's gonna have to keep coming back to therapy. She's gonna have to keep doing all this shit, keep hiding, keep feeling the way she's feeling, all of that. So she just blurts it out. She says, your penis is too small. And it's crickets. And he's like, excuse me? Did you ever stop to think that maybe your vagina is too big?
No.
And then dips. And then Samantha's just there with the therapist afterwards, and she's like, what can I say? I need a big dick. And the therapist is just like, I hear that.
I love that part.
Women
That's one of my
support,
favorite scenes.
you know. Oh, I love her. And then,
But yeah, I mean, she had a breaking point. She's the thing that she didn't want to say, but
she
it
had,
was the truth for her.
yeah. And, you know, she did it the way she did it, but the reason that I don't think Samantha's a bad person for not wanting to stay with him. And I also think
I don't
that
think so either.
they possibly could have made it work if he had been open to sex toys.
I don't think
Possibly,
so.
but maybe
Hmm?
not. I I
Not for a long term. Not a
I don't
long term
think it
relationship.
got for sure fixed, but I do think it would have like
It
extended
would have.
at least.
Yes, I agree. I
Um,
agree.
but that's not what happened. So, yeah, no, Samantha is single again as of now. Good for her. And then we pan over to the next scene, and we have Miranda and Spring Roll Guy in bed again.
Every
And
time you say spring roll, it makes me hungry.
I'll stop saying that. But
No,
oh, his name was Aaron. I'll start calling him Aaron.
that's a nice name.
I like the name Aaron too. R.I.P. Aaron Carter. Anyways,
Mm.
I know he was my first crush. We don't have to go there.
Was he really?
Yeah, there's a video
Like
somewhere.
your first crush ever?
There is a VHS tape somewhere in my parents' house, and it's of me with my Hello Kitty little boombox, and I'm playing I Want Candy, and I'm dancing.
Mm.
I'm not even in kindergarten yet.
Wait, that's a good audience question. What was your first celebrity crush? Because we've
Yeah,
asked like celebrity crushes, we've asked like celebrity threesomes.
your first crush,
Um,
first celebrity
let's
crush.
your very first, like when you were a kid, or whenever, like you're like, oh, them. I had
Yeah,
two technically. Yeah, two. One was The Rock. Don't know. It was just The Rock, all right? And then, but my vote, The Rock was like a crush. You're like, oh my God, hee hee. My first like sexual crush. God, this is so embarrassing. Cal from Titanic.
I have a child. That guy.
Billy Zane in Titanic just did it for me, which goes to show the shit I fantasized about when I was younger did not help me in my adult life. Okay? Because he's a terrible person who threw Rose around the fucking room. And guess what? I was like, I like that. Fucking idiot.
I'm dead. Oh my God.
I learned my own lessons, all right?
Oh my God.
I like when he gets all in her face and he's all like, you need to behave the way a man or a woman should behave the way around her husband. I'm all, ooh, I should. I think it was the hair. It was the hair.
Be here. Oh my God.
I have a problem.
Oh
At least I'm not delusional about it. That's it. I can sit here and be like, I like toxic men.
No.
I'm learning to not.
Change him.
Oh, fuck that. No. I'm just riding the crazy with you at this. If I choose to establish a relationship with a toxic man, it's because I'm in it for fun now. I'm in it for the ride. I'm here for the plot. But I used to not be. I used to be like, I can fix him.
Oh my God.
But yeah, Billy Zane or The Rock. Oh my! Whoa. Also, I want to ask another question to the audience. Favorite or first animated crush? We've all had one.
Peter Pan.
Mine was Victor from Corpse Bride. Hell yeah! I actually had like a sexy dream with him when I was 8. That was like my first one, I think, ever. And we were never mind.
Were you 8 years old in the dream?
I don't know. I was a fucking kid at the time. I don't remember if I aged myself. I just remember being like, hey, this tall, skinny, fucking pale, hot goth guy is in the back of a carriage with me. And that's all. I don't think anything happened. I'll never forget that, man. No, we did not hold hands. Dude, hold on. I just had a fucking connection. My sexy dream was with Victor from Corpse Bride in the backseat of like a fucking cabin. Guess what happens in Titanic? They have sex in the fucking backseat thing. See how my brain is connecting? See those synapses there?
I can see them.
And to this day, guess what my fantasy still is? Fucking in the backseat of a car.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. With pale, skinny men.
Oh my God. You know,
oh my God. God, I should have talked about this during therapy today. Shit. Write it down.
Shout out to
again. I have a fever. Everything I said wasn't true.
This doesn't
this
count.
episode. This episode, the awful truth was a goddamn lie.
Oh my God. Oh God. Okay, so next scene. Oh my God, one of the ever. So we have Miranda, the spring roll guy, in bed talking about how hot it was for them to talk during sex. And you know, Miranda's just like, why was it so difficult? You know, it's actually kind of fun. And why does it turn them both on so much? You know, they're openly talking to each other and asking each other about it. And he asks her what she likes, and then she starts saying it, and then he asks her what he likes. So he wants her to tell him what he enjoys in bed. And so she starts kind of laying it down. She says that he likes it when she bites his nipple. She likes it when he likes it when she kisses his balls.
Ugh.
Okay, whatever, right? And then he likes it when she sticks a finger in his ass.
Because they all do.
And then he says, "Excuse me?" And then she's like, "You just love a finger in your asshole." He pulls
Okay,
away.
rightfully so.
He pulls away, and they end it there.
Because he can't acknowledge the truth.
He can't acknowledge the truth, the awful truth.
Yeah, that's still a big thing with men, which is really sad. Because I'm like, that's where your literal pleasure center is.
Oh, literally. No
Why are
wonder.
you mad about it?
That's why they're so angry all the time. Can you imagine? That's why God put it there. Punishment. Oh my
And it's
God.
just so weird. It's so weird. They're like, oh, I don't want that gay shit. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like,
You're not
that's
gay
not,
unless
you're not gay.
It's like, who do you want to like put their finger in there? If you want another man,
Right.
then that's a little gay.
Then that's gay. But if you want a woman to do it,
that's literally straight.
yeah. If you want yourself to do it, then that's just on you.
Yeah.
So
it's not gay if it's you.
I don't know. I feel like it's getting better. Yeah, if it's not gay if it's you. I feel like that they say that later in the series too with one of my favorite actors of all time too, Bobby Cannavale does a guest spot, so I can't wait for that. Love that man. But yeah, no, it's just funny because you're like, and this is just, it's still a common theme. I feel like it's getting better throughout the years. I feel like men are a lot more expressive with that, or a lot more comfortable. I feel like men are a lot more comfortable with ass play.
I've heard of a lot more young men, mostly from my girlfriends. They tell me how they partake in that activity with their guys, and that the guys enjoy it, and they even request it.
You know what? Yeah, you know what trend I have seen a lot more actually in the past 5 years is pegging.
Yeah. Oh my God, I hear about pegging like all the time.
A lot.
Yeah.
Not something I'm really privy on whatsoever, but if you're into it, cool. But like I do see a lot of people more openly into it. Cause then like and then it plays into the whole like goth dommy mommy fucking trope, and like I get that, and I think men see me and they're like, that one. I'm like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
No.
Mm-mm.
That is not the kind of goth I am. I am the vampy princess, like pillow princess goth. I am not the I'm gonna smack you with some chains goth. I don't know, unless I get drunk enough. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
I have to get like another level to be like to consider it. So I don't remember.
Well, I'm a switch. Like sometimes I'm into it, sometimes
I'm not.
It just depends on my mood that day.
I am a brat through and motherfucking through, and I'm a sub-secondary. Don't fucking no.
Yeah.
Don't tell me to fucking no.
And then we have Stanford coming in. Personally, I don't like anything my ass. I love Stanford. And then Miranda just honestly though, I feel Miranda on this, like not from personal experience, but she's like, I feel betrayed. She's like,
Yeah.
I got into talking dirty, and then she got the rug pulled from underneath her. She didn't realize that he was gonna get so sensitive about that when it was literally true. Oh my. And then Charlotte's just like, men are so inconsistent. That's why I love my Henry. And Charlotte or Carrie's like, Charlotte, you might be onto something. And then we have Mr. Big show up to Carrie's birthday dinner. And he brings his old buddy Jack. Who
did he bring?
His coworker Jack.
He was the one going through the divorce, right?
Yep.
Earlier in the earlier episodes.
So, like, an hour later, we have Mr. Big on the opposite side of the table to Carrie, and all of the. So, like, they're at this restaurant that has belly dancers, and they all, like, swarmed to Mr. Big. And they're all over him, all dancing all over him, and he's loving it. He's, like, putting money in their little, like,
skirts.
Yeah, skirts. And meanwhile, Susan Sharon is trying to flirt with Big's friend Jack, the divorced guy, and it's so bad. You know, she's trying to talk to him and just trying to, I don't know, flirt a little bit maybe.
Yeah.
And he just looks at her and he's like, "Do you ever just shut the fuck up?"
That's so mean.
It is. It's nasty. It really is. And in that moment,
Because we've all been around someone who's just talking a lot, you know,
yeah,
and all you can do is excuse yourself, you know, or talk to someone else. You can be polite with it, and it's like, how fucking rude. No wonder your fucking wife divorced you.
not for fucking real. Like, do you remember that time that we were in line and that guy wouldn't stop talking to us? And
Yes.
in my true
This was recently.
this wasn't that long ago actually, and
This was this year.
It was this year, yeah. I had enough, and I just told the guy, like, I'm not interested in this conversation continuing. Because he just wouldn't stop. But it was very, we were making it very clear with our body language and everything that we didn't want to continue talking, and he wasn't picking it up. So I just calmly asked him if we could end the conversation.
Yeah, because we were waiting in a line. We were waiting in a line, and he was behind us. So it's like, you know, I guess he was trying to make the conversation going, but we're like, we're not wanting to talk to you anymore, buddy. And like, he wasn't being like,
he wasn't being ugly
weird. He wasn't being ugly, like, but it was just kind of like, yeah, her and I were there, like, talking together. Like, it was just kind of like, we don't, you know, I'm like, buddy, like, her and I are trying to like have a conversation, and like, you know, and then he just went silent. He just went silent. And
but even still, I still didn't tell him to shut the fuck up.
No, you polite. You're just like, hey, like,
I would like for this to stop. Thank you.
Yeah. So
it's still awkward, but at least he wasn't talking to us anymore.
I don't even remember like what happened to him after, because he was behind us. Like, did he leave?
No, he stayed in line. He just talking to us, like I asked, and it was nice.
I can't remember because we were at a comedy show. I can't remember which comedian we were seeing, but that's funny.
But yeah, and then we have the next scene, and Charlotte goes home to Henry, and Henry, while she was gone, he chewed up her shoes. He chewed up her pillow and was like tearing it up. There were feathers going everywhere. He pooped on her bed. And he pooped on her floor.
Yeah.
He had shit all over her perfect little world.
First of all, you're going to keep a dog in the bedroom. He's going to poop. If you locked him up in a fucking bedroom, he's going to poop.
I know.
You were out having dinner that, you know, he's not fucking potty trained, like, or puppy pad trained. Then, like, yeah. What'd you expect was going to happen, Charlotte?
Ma'am.
But yeah, Henry had shit all over Charlotte's perfect world.
And then she, you know, she doesn't want to admit it. But she ends up getting rid of Henry, and she gave him to Susan Sharon. And we have a scene where we see Susan Sharon back with her husband, and they have Henry together, and it's honestly really cute.
Henry.
You know.
Yeah, because now he's yelling at the dog to shut the fuck up. Henry's barking and barking. Yeah. He's like, shut the fuck up. And so he's not yelling at Sharon anymore. He's yelling at Henry.
Exactly.
Not that it's okay to yell at your dog, but, you know, he was barking and barking, and you shouldn't be yelling at anyone like that. But
No.
Henry's just barking into the void.
Bork.
He's borking into the void. He's just like, shut the fuck up, Henry.
Oh, and then so Susan Sharon's back with her husband, everything, and they have the dog, and Charlotte she won't admit she got rid of the dog, and Susan Sharon and her husband won't admit that a dog saved their marriage.
The dog saved their marriage.
Yeah.
Hey, whatever fucking works, man.
If y'all are good now, it's healthy, you love each other, like, then
yeah, who cares?
Yeah. So then we have our final scene, and it's Carrie and Mr. Big after Carrie's birthday dinner. And they're walking away from the restaurant in the wee hours of the morning, and he asks her if she wants a ride, and she's like, it's okay, I'm gonna grab a cab. And he asks her if she needs a cab fare, and she's like, no, I'm okay. And then he says, good, because I left all my 20s in that belly dancer's crotch.
Yeah.
I died. And then they say goodnight, and he gets in his car and he leaves. And
No, wait. That would have pissed me off personally.
It would have personally if I invited to a fucking birthday dinner.
No, that's when there's belly dance. That's customary. That's culturally. That's what you do. You tip belly dancers.
See, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. I grew up in a Greek restaurant. I grew up learning how to belly dance with the dancers. Very customary. They're a tipped kind of dancer. Very, very much so. So I was like, yeah, what do you mean? Like, that's what you do.
No, now that I think about it, I remember I went to that restaurant with you one time, and I did see a belly dance. That's my only experience with that. Okay.
Yeah. It's like,
no, I just thought he was like doing it to be like, okay.
No, not at all.
Now I know. But they say goodnight and he leaves, and she watches him go, and she realizes that the one thing she couldn't tell him was, I'm still not over you.
Of course not.
And that's how we end it.
It's hard. It's hard though. Is like birthdays are usually hard when like breakups are surrounding them too. I feel that. Like on a deep level too. Like, I mean, whatever. This person doesn't mind that I talk about them. I just won't name them. But my ex and I have the same birthday. So that gets in the beginning that got rough. You're like. Well, you can't help it. You can't help but think about them, especially on the day. You're like, damn. You're like, we've celebrated all these birthdays together, and then now you're like, well, sucks to suck, buddy. Bye. Have fun. But yeah, no, birthdays can get very like emotional around breakups, and because it's like a holiday. It's like it's like a you celebrate the person, and you remember all the times you shared with them.
Like a milestone too. It's like, well, where I am with this year of my life, and having an ex birthday dinner is definitely an ex that you're not over is definitely a little much.
Yeah.
Emotionally, it's a little emotionally charged. Yeah,
for sure. So, but yeah, I mean, Carrie kind of invited him, knowing, she probably obviously wanted to see him or see what would happen, but I'm like, you're inviting him. You have to understand the consequences of what can come from that. So
exactly.
But yeah, that's how we leave this episode. So we're obviously now kind of in the midst of this gray area of their breakup, starting of season 2. But yeah, so we'll see how it goes forward the rest of the season. Again, crazy dynamics as we go through this one. So
yeah, really.
it's gonna be a goddamn roller coaster. But But yeah, but no, this is a good episode. This one involved a lot. Anytime, like I said, anytime we involve additional characters, these episodes are like, they feel so long. They feel so involved. Like there's so much different plots. Like But yeah, anytime we have like an additional character, why is her name escaping me?
Susan
Huh?
Chan.
Susan Sharon. Yeah, geez. She's a fun one too and stuff. But yeah, no, this is a fun episode. I like the whole theme of like not wanting to say the truth.
The awful
So
truth.
the awful truth, even though the truth will set you free. I always feel I always feel like honesty is the better policy with things, and you can put things. You can be honest and still be respectful. You can be honest and still put things lightly, but still be, I always feel like that's going to be the better way. I always feel like life is definitely a lot easier when you're honest because it doesn't give room for interpretation.
Yeah. And having to sort things out later when the truth finally does come out.
Mm-hmm. It's that whole, oh, you're just going to let little white lies catch up and then they turn into big fucking lies. And, it's wild, man. It's wild. Humans are crazy. It's just funny how as adults, we still struggle with stuff like this too.
Like,
Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. But yeah, that is season 2, episode 2, The Awful Truth. We got through that one. That was a fun one. Thanks you guys for listening or watching if you've made it to the end. We will be back next week with season 2, episode 3. What's that one called?
Freak Show.
Freak Show. Yeah, you're right. That one is Freak Show. We've mentioned this before. The titles are gonna get a little more risque throughout the series. So episode 4, like, I'm just gonna say this now. It's called They Shoot Single People, Don't They? And I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to fucking like star that shit out. I can't post that on YouTube, right? I'm like, on TikTok you can't even say gun, you have to say pew pew.
No way.
Like, there's so yeah. Have you realized? Do you want to know why a lot of the lingo of the way we, especially younger kids, say things is because of TikTok? Like, they say sewer slide. You can't say suicide on TikTok. You'll get banned. That's why kids like if you hear Gen Z and younger kids talk, it's a lot of the reason why is because it had to be changed in TikTok. That's why they speak that way.
I never knew that was why.
Mm-hmm. So there's like pew pew, unaliving. If you've heard unaliving, that's all derivative from TikTok, and I find that absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, really.
But yeah, there's a couple of of titles that are a little bit. I'm gonna have to probably bleep, so we'll see how those do. But yeah, thanks you guys for if you made it to the end or just for listening or watching at all in any capacity. Thank you so much. Again, I apologize. I sound terrible. Getting over COVID here. So hopefully next week I probably will be filming from a different destination. Well, I mean, yeah, for a different location. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully that goes well. I'm most likely going out of town this weekend. It's typically when we film. So we'll see how that goes. If I do film out there. But yeah, so thank you guys again. All the questions we asked, celebrity crush. Who else? What did we ask? We're like dirty talking in bed.
Do you first cartoon crush?
First celebrity crush.
Yeah. Well,
those 3.
Yeah, and then talking in bed.
I think it was that.
Hey guys, let us know if you do like a finger in the ass.
They all do. They're just not going to admit it. Some will, some won't.
Anonymous.
But anonymously. But yeah. So anyway, thanks you guys. Let's just keep it going. So we'll see you guys next week. Thank you guys so much. So bye guys. Oh, I'm just going to have to cut it here because hold on. I have to just take my mic out.